Well, let's get started with Credit Karma then. So when you guys are initially talking to people, when you put posts out on social media, people are going to start getting in your inbox. They're interested. Maybe you want to know what your data points are with Credit Karma. Either way, Credit Karma is a good free tool to be able to use to tell what data is on your profile that's affecting you. This is also a really good tool to point out someone's pain points during a sales call. If you're talking to new clients, it's a sales call, okay? Because you have a service that you're selling and you want them to sign up for it, okay? And that's a sales call. I don't ever call it like a credit consultation, but I do like to call it something like a game plan call or like a discovery call. That's a good one. I like to call it discovery call. You know, some people might be okay with this credit score that we're about to see, but I want you guys to get out of that mindset. We have to strive for excellence. And in order for us to do that, we have to make sure that we are reaching certain data points that are very important. You know, we definitely want to make sure that everything is intact. All of our credit utilization is low. We want to keep it simple. That's all. Okay. We're not going to overthink late payments because the chance of them getting correct is like 50-50. You know, it just depends. But the credit card utilization is extremely important. So this is good. You know, again, between 2 and 6% is the sweet spot, but our goal is to remain at least below 15% if we can. You know, the best way to go about credit card utilization is if you have a low balance credit card, pay that off first. So if you have a $200 credit card and it's got a $100 balance, now in hindsight, $100 ain't much, right? But in the site that this card is only a $200 limit and you've got $100 on it, you're using 50% of that available credit. That's too high. You're going to ruin your credit like that. I literally did a test on myself and I said, I'm going to let my credit card utilization go up to 20 something percent, to 30%. It wasn't even to 30%. I think it was 27%. Okay. Because the internet tells you, oh, stay under 30. So that's under 30. It was 27. My credit score dropped 70 points. I bullshit you not. 70 points. Okay. This is detrimental to your credit. Okay. Now, if something like that happens and you take a big dip, things happen, but understand how to avoid your credit card utilization reporting to the credit bureaus. Okay. Let's go over that. Now, credit card debt, it reports once a month. Credit Karma, not real. Okay. This is not real. Yeah, sure. I understand it. It's great data, right? It's telling me the balance increased. There was a remark added, great data. But in regards to the actual score, it's not real. The only people that really use this same Vantage 3.0 scoring model are like property management companies. Why? Because it's a cheaper scoring model to purchase. Okay. But Credit Karma is good for the data. It's good to see, hey, look, we got an inquiry removed. Okay. We got some changes here. Oh, look, a collection accounts was removed. So that's awesome. And unfortunately, it only went up 1 point, even though a collection account was removed. And at this point in the game, all that we really need is the account data. When my clients or when you're ready to kind of focus on applying for things, you want to get the My FICO app. And I have that app, and it's a great app because it's your real true FICO scores. Experian will also give you your FICO scores. I'm not sure if Experian offers the FICO 9 scoring model, which is actually becoming the most popular scoring model. Navy Federal uses FICO 9 from TransUnion. A lot of places that I do business with are using a FICO 9 scoring model. So it's becoming more and more popular because FICO 10 is out and a lot of people aren't using FICO 10. FICO 8 was the most popular scoring model and FICO 9 is now kind of taking over because things are moving ahead. But there's FICO 4, there's FICO, 2, there's different bank card FICO scoring models. So when you get the My FICO app, you start playing around, you'll see all of your different FICO scoring models in there based on what you're applying for. So if you're applying for a home, the mortgage people, they have their own FICO scoring system. And what they do is they pull all 3 credit bureaus and they take your middle score. Now, a credit card company, they might use like a FICO 9 scoring model and they might only pull from one credit bureau. But I always tell people, take this information with a grain of salt, do your own research and see what would be best for you. Now, when I first started on Credit Karma, it gave me some great recommendations. It said, sign up for this card. I think I got my Capital One card from them. I started off with a $300 limit, and then they raised it to $500 after like 6 months of on-time payments. So I was grateful for that at that time. But those are starter cards. The best way to go about getting credit cards is to build relationships with financial institutions like Navy Federal, like PenFed. Any federal credit union out there is going to be great. Go open a bank account or 2 or 4 with credit unions, because they are the ones that have the money. They are the ones that have the credit that will approve you with not like perfect credit. Like, I helped somebody get a $25,000 credit card, and I kid you not, their FICO score was like 640. It was crazy. I was like, I cannot believe this person just got a $25,000 credit card. Now, since then, I think things have changed a little bit, because guess what? This same client maxed it out. He is currently still my client, and I'm trying to help him with debt relief. The basic rule of thumb is to try to keep our credit balances low and understand with every credit card that you have what the statement date is. So every card has a statement date. On that statement date, that account information will be reported to the credit bureau. So I know I have all my statement dates in my phone as a reminder, right? And I don't even go off my credit card bill due date. I go off the statement date. So 3 business days prior to my statement date, I'm going to make sure that my credit balances are paid below like a 10% balance. I try to keep my balances between like 2 and 7%. Sometimes I'll use them and then I'll pay them off, right? I'll use them and I'll pay them off. But it's really important to not let that high utilization report to the credit bureaus. Now, Credit Karma, they get updates every week. So you might see your credit score go down with Credit Karma because you use your credit card, but sometimes things happen. But as long as you pay it prior to the statement date and it doesn't report to the credit bureaus, then you're in good shape, okay? So between payment history and credit card utilization, that's 65% of your credit score. So that's over half the battle right there. Most people that I talk to on a daily basis do not have these 2 categories in line. And I'm going to tell you something. Their credit card utilization is always high, and their payment history is never 100%. So this is why it's so important for you to pay your bills on time. Now, if we go to this client's profile here, this is derogatory marks. It says 0, can be tricky. I know this client has charge-offs, but charge-offs do not show in derogatory marks. Derogatory marks are like bankruptcies, collections. Charge-offs are not always a collection. If the charge-off isn't being actively collected by a collection company, then it's not a collection. Now, keep in mind as well, you might get things in the mail from collection companies. Check and see if they're on your credit report. I'm going to give you a prime example. So I got a letter in the mail. It was from a collection company. Attorneys at law. Wow. Okay. I know I got to pay this. It's not on my credit. It is nowhere on my credit. And if it ain't on my credit, they're not getting a goddamn dime from me. Okay. You better put it on my credit if you want anything from me. So be very careful. Make sure that it is reporting to your credit. Not all collection companies report to all 3 bureaus, but some only report to 1. But look at the 3 bureau report. Make sure if it's on there or not before, you take it serious or, you try to pay it. I don't ever recommend paying a collection company just outright, because what happens is it will remain on your credit profile as a paid collection. It'll have a 0 balance, but it's still listed as a collection. So what we want to do are do pay for deletions. So if for some reason your client's like, look, I don't want to take the time to dispute this, I'd rather just get it off my credit. And if you can't get it off, I just want to pay it. I just want to get it off. Right. So what you're going to do is you're going to try to dispute it, try to validate it. But if the time comes where you say, look, we'll give you 3 months to try to get it off. If I can't get it off in 3 months, then we'll pay for it. Okay. Then we'll come up with some sort of agreement, see if they will do a pay for deletion. What that means is you're reaching out to the collection company and saying, look, if I pay this account off or pay this account off for 60% of what I owe you right now, today, I'm going to give you money over the phone right now. Send me an email or send me a fax, confirm that you will remove this account off my credit profile as if it never existed. And a lot of companies will do that. I've done quite a few pay for deletions over my time, but it's just a matter of figuring it all out and doing your due diligence. So derogatory marks in this client's case is 0, but don't let that fool you. Always look at the credit report to see if there are other derogatory marks on there, like charge-offs. Okay. But this is not a direct, I would say, collection companies don't have a direct calculation in your credit score, but we all know if you have derogatory marks on your profile, it's going to hinder your ability to have good credit. So we want to have this at 0. So again, our goal, payment history, we want to make that 100%. Credit card utilization, at least under 10%, between 2 and 6 is the best. Derogatory marks, our goal is 0. Okay. Credit age. Now, credit age is 15% of your credit score. This number, 5 years or more. We're looking for 5 years or more. The preferred number is 7 because 7 years of history report on your credit report. Okay. Sometimes it's like 7.5. Sometimes it's a little bit more, but for the most part, accounts last about 7 years on your credit report. You know, do you have the right number of accounts? Like our goal is 10 or more active open accounts. We want 6 to 8 credit cards. We want 2 installment loans. That can be an auto loan. That can be a student loan. It can be rent reporters. It can be credit strong, or it could be self lender. Those are all installment accounts and they report as installment accounts. Another great installment account to build credit with is pledge loans or secured loans with federal credit unions. And they are really great to be able to build credit with yourself and also build a relationship with that bank. Okay. So the credit history is an average of accounts. Again, it's going to take your oldest account. It's going to take your newest account and it's going to give your average here. Another great way to look at it is right here. Here's all of your accounts and it gives you the average. So whenever someone is coming to you and they don't have any history, they have like 6 months of history or 1 year of history, how do you add history to the credit profile? Credit age, our goal is 5 years or more. Credit age is about 15% of your overall credit score. Okay, so it is a big factor. So now between payment history, credit card utilization, and credit age, we're at 80%. So now we got 2 more categories to go. Total number of accounts. This is your credit mixture. So this is how diversified is your credit profile. Now, I'm going to tell you right now, this client, one of the reasons why their credit score is so low, they do not have enough open accounts. They only have 6 open accounts and they don't have a diversified enough profile. They have 14 closed accounts. So they have 20 accounts total, which 20 is a good number, but they only have 6 open. A lot of their accounts were closed due to inactivity. So they're going to need to open up new lines of credit or add trade lines, one of the two, you know? And this kind of just goes over, it doesn't really give you like a breakdown on Credit Karma, but you can view all of your accounts. It'll take you to your credit report right there. Now we know that this client only has 6 open accounts and they don't have any installment accounts. All 6 of their accounts are like just credit accounts. So you need to have a diversified profile, meaning 2 to 3 installment accounts. Installment accounts are the same amount you pay every single month until that loan is paid off. Auto loan, student loan, mortgage, people that do credit builder accounts like self-lender, credit strong, and a lot of these other credit builder accounts, those are considered installment loans because it's the same amount that you're paying every single month. You're paying in an installment amount. Okay. So we want 2 to 3. Now keep in mind, installment accounts do not count towards your credit card utilization. Credit utilization is only calculated via credit cards, store cards, MasterCard, Visa, Discover, American Express, all of those. Okay. Now, revolving accounts, those are going to be all of your credit card, Macy's card, a Walmart card, any sort of store credit card or major credit card, Visa, MasterCard, American Express, Discover. American Express does not report history. That's not a good trade line to purchase. If you look at our trade line list, you might find one American Express card on here. And guess what? I've never sold it. Why? Because it doesn't report history. So this is the only Amex card we have, and it's for $250. And someone might look at that and go, oh, wow, that's a great deal because it's got 2 years of history. Well, guess what? You're not going to inherit any history from American Express. They're not doing it. So it's pointless to get an American Express account. American Express is great for us as business owners and as entrepreneurs because they are very lenient, in my opinion. So we want to open up American Express on our personal side. One of the fastest ways to do that, build a relationship with Navy Federal bank account. Okay. Navy Federal does not pull check systems. A lot of people have issues getting accounts because their check systems report has negative information on it. This is a great way to get around that. Okay. But if your check systems report does have negative info, get your report and dispute it like you would with your credit bureau. Okay. They're all credit reporting companies. Deal with this source. At one point, I was not able to get a bank account. Why? Because my check systems report was all type of messed up. Okay. But I fixed it. And now I'm able to get bank accounts, which has allowed me to get wonderful credit cards with Navy Federal. I have a $25,000 credit card with them. I have a $24,000 credit card with them. So I was able to add $49,000 worth of available credit to my credit profile, which makes me a strong candidate. They are very, very lenient, in my opinion. Like I said, I helped someone get a $25,000 credit card with a 640. And again, you do have to be related to someone that served in the service. I always tell everyone who's looking to get into Navy Federal, my father was in the Navy. He passed away. He had a Navy Federal account and, he always spoke so highly of Navy Federal. So now since he's passed, I want to go ahead and get a Navy Federal bank account with you guys. And it works every time. I've never had someone tell me that it did not work. So if it doesn't seem to be going well, hang up, disconnect the call and call back maybe tomorrow or, a different time. But you just want to say your father was in the Navy. He passed away. He had a Navy Federal account. That's how you know about them. And now you want to go ahead and get signed up with one. I said my grandfather, because my grandfather really was in the Navy. I told him I did not have the DDT 14 number, which they might ask for, but I just gave him a name. I gave him my grandfather's name. They put the name in the system and that was good enough for them. So, hey, perfect. So I got a Navy Federal bank account, paid $5 for it. Okay. Established the relationship with them first. I applied for my first credit card with them. Now, my first credit card with Navy Federal, I didn't know any better at this point. So I applied for their American Express card because I always wanted to get American Express. So I got approved, but I only got approved for $500. And at that time, my credit score was about a 660. So it wasn't very strong. And the largest credit card that I had on my credit profile was only $500. So of course, they matched it, which is very common. Adding trade lines and building a relationship with banks has been the reason why I was able to get $20,000 and $25,000 credit card limits. So I got my $500 credit card and I was heartbroken because I wanted a $25,000 credit card. So I did a pledge loan with Navy Federal. And what a pledge loan is, it is basically a secured loan that you take your money. Say you have money in a savings account, right? You want to put your cash on your credit report and make it work for you. So I took my $3,500 and I did a pledge loan with Navy Federal. They took the money from my savings account, they put it into my checking account, and they took a loan out against it. Okay. So now I got the money in my checking account, but now there is a loan that I have to pay back, right? So I'm paying back my own money, right? But what that does is allow you to build credit. It's like a free way to build credit. It does not require a hard credit inquiry. It helps you build a positive credit account with all three of the credit bureaus as an installment loan. And it helps you build a strong relationship with Navy Federal because Navy Federal has what's considered an internal scoring system. So they want you to have multiple relationships with them, right? And if you pledge $3,500 to them, that means you're serious. So sometimes you got to give a little before you get a little, right? So I did that. I took 6 months and I paid it off. There's no pre-penalty payment to pay it off early. So if you wanted to do a pledge loan for $3,500 and you wanted to pay it off in 1 month because you wanted the money back, perfect. Once you pay it off, the money's back into your savings account within 48 hours. It's pretty quickly. So once that was paid off, I applied for another credit card with Navy Federal. They approved me for $20,000. That is a prime example of why it's so important for us to build relationships with federal credit unions. Getting a secured loan with them is a great way to build credit and build a relationship at the same time. And Navy Federal is not the only place that does this. There's other banks out there that do that as well. And that's why I always say, if you are looking to build credit, do it with the banks that got the money to do it. Stop doing these First Progress, First Premier, all these shitty credit cards that don't have any long-term longevity. The last data point here is going to be the inquiries. So this inquiries are good because there's only 2 inquiries here. And our goal is to have less than 5, but I'm getting ready to show you my credit profile and I have a lot of goddamn inquiries. So inquiries are a very low part of the credit, but they do matter. So I'm actually trying to get some of my inquiries removed right now because I do this all the time. I'm always using my credit. So I'm always having problems with my inquiries. And basically, if there's an account on your credit profile that is not tied to an open account, dispute it, because that inquiry is just literally clogging up space on your real estate. And that's just taking up points. So when you apply for credit, typically you're going to see a hit of 3 to 5 points, right? 3 to 5 points initially. But those 3 to 5 points are worth it because sometimes you got to take a hit to get bigger. And that's why on my credit, you'll see that my credit goes up and down and up and down and up and down because I'm applying for credit and then I'm using the credit and then I'm paying it down and I'm managing it properly. Now, one of the reasons why this client's credit profile is so low, because all their data points look good to the eye, but they have charge-offs on their credit. They have old information that is on their credit. And see this? Closed, there's a balance. This is a charge off. There's a balance. If there's any balance, that's a problem. That's a problem. So boom, derogatory. If any closed account has a balance, it's an issue, but it doesn't show up in the derogatory account. So that's why when you are going over someone's credit profile, like during a consultation, you definitely want to look at their credit profile. If they have any closed accounts with balances, it's a charge off. You have to try to get that off for the client. But other than that, that's really the only reason why this client is being held back is from this Merrick, which is only $657, and this at $184. Now, if this balance were to report as 0 and we were to get the status change from derogatory to paid, then this account would no longer affect the client. And you can also tell in here if someone is actively reporting it. Sometimes you can tell the date that it last reported. So it is actively reported. It says reported February 26, 2022, February 9th. So it's actively reporting. So it is hurting the client. And that's why they have such a low credit score. So you can always try to get old charge-offs removed from the client's profile.